Today class we'll be learning about Savage Rumbaugh. This is a study about the language acquisition of chimps. It was primarily about a bonobo chimp called Kanzi, but there were other chimps in the study such as Mullica, another bonobo chimp. This is an example of what a bonobo chimp is. Along with Kanzi and Mullica, two other chimps were used. They were mainly the background information for the study. They were called Sherman and Austin, and they were a common chimp. This is what a common chimp would look like. This study was a longitudinal case study that took 17 months. It started when Kanzi was 2.5 years old, and its main focus was around him. Yes, George.
What's a longitudinal case study?
I'm glad you asked that, George. A longitudinal case study is a case study that focuses on a small number of participants for a very extended period of time. Moving on to the procedure of the study, the apes were kept in two locations. There was an outdoor location, which was 55 acres, and there were 17 food locations across this area. The indoor location was a much more cramped environment. It was a very small classroom, which is about 36 square feet. To study the language acquisition of the chimps, the researchers used a lexicon such as this.
What is a lexigram and how does it work?
I was just getting into that. A lexigram is a keyboard of symbols which is each assigned to a word. However, the symbols have no representation of the word, making it arbitrary. Here's a video of Kanzi using the lexigram.
Banana.
Very nice.
Banana. Banana.
Can you find peanuts?
Peanut.
Thank you. Will you find eggs?
Sherman. Egg.
Good. Can you find milk? Milk?
Milk.
Good. How about apple?
Apple.
Very good. How about Sue?
Sue.
The chimps were exposed to the lexigram at 6 months old. However, there were differences. Sherman and Austin had no voice synthesizer on their lexigram. However, Kanzi and Mullica were not taught how to use it. They'd used it spontaneously and worked out how it worked at about 2.5 years. This is an example of a serendipitous finding.
What does serendipitous mean?
Good question. Serendipitous means a happy accident. So, when Kanzi and Mullica began to use the lexigram on their own, without any teaching, it was purely by luck. It was very serendipitous. The words the chimp chose on the lexigram were categorized into 5 categories. Correct and incorrect are obvious. Spontaneous was if the chimp chose a pattern on the lexigram without any kind of prompting. Imitative was if they repeated a word as a symbol on the lexigram. And structured was if they were asked a question and responded with a symbol on the lexigram. For the chimp's language to be considered as vocabulary, each thing would have to be 9 out of 10 times correct on the lexigram. And for new vocabulary to be added, it would have to be in the spontaneous category, rather than then just imitating. Another control was a 4.5-hour observation, where they had one of the researchers in the room with them as they used the lexigram. This is just to check that they could also perform the lexigram, not when they're just on their own. In the 17th month of the study, both Kanzi and Mullica were formally tested on all of the vocabulary that they'd learned. Kanzi was around 46 months at this time, and Mullica was about 20 months. Does anyone know why the researchers performed these tests?
Was it to ensure there was no experimental effects, such as giving inadvertent cues to the monkeys and then it would improve validity?
Yes, George, well done! Does anyone want to take a guess at which chimp learned the most words?
Was it Malika who learned the most words?
No, it was Kanzi.
Yes, that's right. Kanzi learned 2,805 correct utterances and had all 5 of the characteristics of language. That concludes our lesson on Savage Rumbaugh.